Hey guys, what's going on? This is another Outdoorsman 1 video. Today we're going to be talking about what I do getting ready for an overlanding trip of some sort, of really any capacity. Alright guys, so before I dive more into this video, I just want to say I've got these patches. They're new. I've been selling them through Instagram. So for the time being, until I get my website going here with a couple more patches on it, hit me up on Instagram if you want one. They are PVC. They're the nice rubber patch. They're not embroidered, so I did spend a good amount of money on these. If you guys are interested, I'm selling them for $12 shipped to you. Hit me up on Instagram, slide into my DMs, tell me that you want one, and I will get you one the next day. So now that I've paid the bills, back into this video. So a lot of people have asked me what I do, kind of my prep work on getting ready for an overlanding trip, for some sort of weekender trip of some sort. There's a lot of things that you can do, but I really like to break it down into two different facets. The second one we will go into on a separate day and a separate video. Anyways, part one here is going to be talking about the prep work, the research part of things. So a lot of things that you're going to do in this hobby, in this community, require some sort of plan. And before I dive into the actual plan that we're going to go through here on my computer, the most important thing is picking a date and sticking to it. The first thing that you're going to need to do before you get on Gaia, before you get on Google Maps, before you start searching on Google the closest trails to you, the most important thing I think is saying, hey, next weekend I'm going to go out. And it might seem self-explanatory to you, but for some people they need a plan. Some people aren't just spontaneous and sporadic. So if you're one of the prior, if you're a planner, you need to know 2 weeks out, hey, I'm going to Moab and these are the trails that I intend on hitting, and we'll see how I feel from there. I personally am a planner. I like to make a plan, but I'm also spontaneous in the fact where if it's Friday at 6 o'clock and I don't have plans, I'm going to go hit a trail and I'll come back Saturday afternoon sometime. But I've become more of that spontaneous, sporadic type person as my collection of things in my hobby has allowed me to be ready to go camping at any time with a rooftop tent and whatnot. But if you don't have a rooftop tent and you don't have all of this gear, or you know, your Forerunner is your daily driver and you have car seats in the back or whatever. Maybe you have a family to tend to, and you know, going on a trip with your family or with your girlfriend or with your wife or with your best friends, you're going to need to coordinate with some other people. Me, I'm 23 years old and single, so it's really easy for me to just say, hey, Friday after work, I'm going to go hit a trail. Picking a date and saying, I'm going to do it, is really important. It gets you out more, you know, because if you're like me and you always like to be busy or go, sometimes it gets to be 8 o'clock at night and you were doing something, and then you're like, ah, dang, I wasted this weekend because I didn't get to go camping. So planning ahead of time, you know, 4 days out at least is important to me. Figure it out with your schedule, make a plan, stick to it, make it work. The next part is going to be step 2. And so now we're going to kind of talk about some things with the laptop and doing your research online. You know, now that it's starting to get into these colder months, especially here in Utah and high mountains and whatnot, the planning, there needs to be a lot of planning. You gotta sit down and say, okay, next Saturday I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna be back Sunday, or you know, you're gonna need to plan your route a little bit better, knowing snow conditions, knowing weather, and of course all of these things are gonna change as you know you get closer to your date, whether it's sunny and 75 or it's blizzard and 24. Anyways, in this part, what I want to talk about is Gaia. Primarily Gaia. I'm going to bring it up right here on Google. I use Gaia GPS. I have a membership with them and I would support you getting one as well. Some people use Onyx, the app that people use for hunting. That one's really good because it's going to show you property lines, so you'll know when you're going on some trails if you're on somebody's private property or if you're not. So that's definitely good to know. Some people use All Trails. I have a membership with them as well, and I have used them a lot as far as hiking and backpacking. A lot of good routes are on there, but not so much when it comes to off-road. Gaia, it's fantastic. I would highly suggest that you look it up. Also, Google Maps is pretty good. For the majority of trails where you're not going way off into the bushwhack, a lot of your trails are going to be on Google. Alright guys, so now we're on our computer. You can do this from your phone or a tablet if you like. We'll talk about the advantages of using those a little bit further on in the video, but we're gonna go to Google. I'm a Google guy, so this is my Google Maps. Let me try and get that oriented a little bit better. So this is my Google Maps. You can see I live in Provo, Orem area because there are a lot of pins, and I love to remember things with pins like this. But it kind of got to be the point where I wasn't sure of where my trails were. You can see I've done trails all the way out into Missouri. For the most part, these blue dots are the places where I have camped or something like that. Anyways, I don't really want to dive into those too much, but you can see I've got ones down here in southern Utah, I've got ones across Nevada, and then also I've got some on the border here, and then also diving into Sacramento where I grew up. Then also I've got some down here, I don't know why they don't show up when I zoom in a little bit, but in Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, all the way across, I've got some pins of places where I have stayed. So Google Maps is good for remembering, but anyways, Google Maps is a good option, again, for remembering things. Then I'm gonna go to my All Trails here, which again, All Trails is great, but it's much more geared to the hiker, the backpacker. There is a specific marker for off-road, OHVs, things like that, but again, there is not the I guess you could say community for it. I have recorded multiple, as you can see here, but again, the majority of these are just hiking. Now we're going to go to my Gaia Maps, which I am relatively new to. I would say that I've used it quite a bit, but I'm new to actually recording my trails. So you can see I've got about 4 or 5 trails here. This one is a video that I've been working on for quite a long time, and now in my videos I will start linking my Gaia map and making them public. You can follow me on Gaia. My personal Gaia here is just Outdoorsman1. You can search for me. I believe you can follow me and see my profile and see the things that my tracks that I've made public. You can see this one here in the Uintas. Anyways, this is my profile, Outdoorsman1. This is my picture. You'll know it's me. Anyways, I don't really want to make this too much of a how to use Gaia because there's a lot of good videos and content on that. But what I do want to say is it's fantastic if you do have a smartphone, which, you know, we're in 2020, or a laptop or a tablet of some sort, where you can actively record your tracks. A lot of people nowadays will have tablets mounted in their Jeeps and whatnot. What I have here is a track that I did, and I did it on my phone. So we've got it here as well. It's the same track. You can see it's the same colors. And, you know, on the phone app, I can record, I can stop, I can delete the track, right? I can see what this one track was. I can see kind of what's around there, pictures that other people have posted, the perimeter, the area. You can get a lot of information on there. Also, when you're looking at Gaia, you know, for example, you say, oh, I've heard Payson Lake is a really cool area. So in this example, we're going to imagine that we are going to Payson Lake. So Payson Lake's campground, for example, let's just say we're going there, which if we're looking at the map, if we're looking at where my track is going to be up here, Payson Lake Campground. Okay, you can see the little kidney-shaped guy there, and this is going to show on the map, right? So this is the campground that we're talking about, and obviously here the lake is blue. Here this is an image because I like GPS images just to kind of know what it's like. You can see there is Big East Lake, Big East Lake. You can orient this however you want if you choose to. So there we are. Okay, campground, campground. So let's say we want to plan some routes out here. So we can drive to, so imagine you want to go to Payson Lake. You can click drive to, and it will, if you are on your app, it will give you the option to go through Google Maps to drive there, which is, I think, phenomenal. It brings you off of their app to a different app, and then you can add photos as you like and whatnot. Then we can see here all of these different trails. So you can start highlighting trails that you want to go on. Again, you can do this on your phone very easily. You can save them to different folders. You can add waypoints. You can add where you camped. You can do all of that sort of stuff. So now that we've planned our trip to Payson Lake online, we kind of did some research. We looked at what their average snowfall this time of year is. We looked at the weather conditions for next Saturday, October something 2020. Now that we've done all of our research, that's our second step. So we decided we're going to go camping next weekend. We decided where we were going to go camping with next weekend. Now, step 3 is going to be, who do I go camping with, right? So maybe that's part of step 1 with, I'm going to go camping with so-and-so. I'm a big proponent of going camping with people. But if I'm going to go out on a multi-day thing, it's definitely got to be with another rig. It's got to be with another set of people. It's got to be with somebody. I get my joy out of spending time with people. So that's very important to me. So who do I go camping with? Well, get on Facebook. Get on your local groups. Join local groups to you. If you're in Utah, join my page, Utah Overland. You won't be mad about that. There's Wasatch Off-Road. There's Utah Expedition Overlanders. There's a bunch of groups. There's Toyota pages like UTOR. There's all these different pages. If you drive a Nissan Xterra, I'm sure there's a Facebook group for it. You could be like, hey, who's in my area? Who wants to go camping this weekend? I have never met anybody in this community through all of the meetups that I've done through Utah Overland. I have not met a single person that I wouldn't go camping with again. That doesn't mean everybody's perfect, but most of the people in this community are pretty great. The second to last step here is going to be making a list of meals. Figuring out if I need to get my tires rotated, if I need an oil change, if I need those kind of things, kind of the physical things before I go load up my truck. So before I dive into all of the things that you should kind of anticipate and prep for and things like that towards the end of this video, the one thing I will say is I will link it in the description below, but I will put a screenshot up after I'm done explaining this of a spreadsheet that I've kind of built for Utah Overland for just overland trip planning. Here you go. Feel free to screenshot that and use it to your liking or download it if you please. It's helped me to, I mean I do this all the time, but it's still helped me to kind of organize my thoughts of things that I'm going to need, things that I might want to remember for next time. And you know, growing your collection of things is never a bad thing, so prepping for the next time is also good as well. I want to kind of have a list of, okay, am I going to need extra blankets? Am I going to need to refill my propane tank and grab my Mr. Buddy heater for my tent because I know it's going to be really cold? Do I need to bring traction mats? I mean, that's always a yes for me, but do I need this? Do I need that? Do I need an extra tow rope? Things like that. And then the very last step is prior to your trip, telling some people. This goes back to my Boy Scout days and working at a Boy Scout camp and teaching these merit badges. But I am a strong believer of, since we're not going on a trip by ourselves, I will never go and hit a place that I'm unfamiliar with by myself. That's just my ground rules. We already kind of went over that. But make sure you tell somebody when you're going and when you anticipate being back, and give them some wiggle room and say, well, I'm planning on leaving Friday and coming back Sunday around 10 o'clock, but don't freak out if I am not back by, 6 o'clock on Sunday. But after 6 o'clock on Sunday, if I'm not back, something bad happened. Because a lot of these trips you're going to be outside of cell phone reception. So you got to plan on, people knowing where you're at. That's very important. Having somebody who knows that you are somewhere between here and there. If you go hiking, I encourage you to do the exact same thing. I think it's very important to have people know where you're at. Tell your mom, even if they're out of state, have somebody to keep you accountable so somebody knows to text you and be like, hey, did you get back safe? It's also nice to get back and be like, oh yeah, and kind of spark off a conversation and tell them about your trip and show them cool pictures, and maybe they'll want to come next time. So doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter if they're local to you or not, just have somebody check up on you after your trip is supposed to be over, so that everybody gets home safe. And if somebody doesn't get home safe, that somebody knows about that and knows the proper channels of who to contact in that situation. So now, with the use of technology, let's talk about technology a little bit. This is my old tablet from way back when. I don't use this, but it's just kind of my example. I don't even know if this thing turns on anymore. Anyways, I should probably figure that out. But tablets, iPads, whatever. I'm sure the majority of you watching this are Apple fanatics. I am a Samsung person. You can see that. I have a Samsung laptop and a Samsung phone. I think that they perform much better. I do like the interface and things between Apple, but I've just not gotten on the train yet. So, technology. Big thing about Gaia, the fantastic thing about Gaia, is you can download your map with the topographic. You can download the satellite. You can download the Gaia mix between all of them. Download ahead of time. Don't just sporadically be like, oh, I'm going to go on this trip in a place where I don't have cell phone reception and I'm not going to have maps. Well, download that area before you leave, while you're in your Wi-Fi at home. Download that map, so even if you kind of bridge off the trail a little bit, or let's say a tree fell down and you don't have a chainsaw or something like that, you can know, oh, I can back up and I can backtrack, quarter mile this way, go up this other trail, and we'll check that out. So I think that's very important, because if you just have your line memorized, there's a chance that there might be a snowdrift, there might be an avalanche that came through there during inclement conditions. Snow might have built up to the point where you don't want to try and push over that, and this, that, and the other. So having options helps, and the more area, for example, like this whole area up here is all downloaded to my phone. I should probably delete it now because I don't plan on going out there anytime soon. But that whole area is downloaded. So on my phone, if I were to go into even this place here in the middle, you can see, for example, the purple line is what we actually did. So this blue line, we kind of hugged it right there. We decided to get up off onto the road, drive the road a little bit, and then come down here. And then what we noticed was that there was a bridge that was under construction right here. So because that bridge was under construction, we obviously couldn't get over it. So we actually had to kind of bushwhack out around here and cross a different bridge right here to be able to get back on our intended path. Also, with that planning, to figure out, okay, my average miles per gallon is this, and this is how many gallons I carry on me. Do I need extra Rotopacks? Do I need extra gas cans? Those are very important. Use you know, common sense when you're out on the trail and when you're prepping for the trip. Do I need an extra jacket? Do I need jackets? Do I need shorts or pants? Do I maybe want to bring some waterproof pants or something like that? And just go down that line of things that you might need. Alright guys, I appreciate you watching this video. I appreciate you buying my patches and supporting what by we I mean me, what I'm trying to create here, Outdoorsman 1. I hope this has been a benefit to you, as prepping for this video has been for me. I've kind of sparked your interest in planning. I hope that you and I become better at Gaia Maps and we can use them more effectively. I know a lot of people here in Utah do trainings on them, so that's really cool. And guys, remember, be good, be dangerous, be ready, and we'll see you on the trail sometime, okay? Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Since you watched the whole thing, why don't you click that button right there that says subscribe. I kind of do a lot of stuff like this, and check me out on Instagram for daily content. You know, it's not like you clicked out of the video. Remember, be good, be dangerous, be ready, and we'll see you on the trail. Oh shoot, I needed the Pam.